Welcome to Retrologic. I'm Dan Caparello here with John Cummins. And this week we have a very special guest who came on last minute because I begged him to. His name is Andrew. He does the Nintendo Pals podcast, and he is quite the dapper gentleman with his neck bandage that I had to mention.
Yeah, this is an audio-only cast. Oh man, yeah, got a mole
you could have gotten away with it
today, and so neck bandage, neck Andros, neck bandage for me.
You missed a perfect opportunity to make up a grand story, like for why you have a bandage.
Oh yeah, I forgot. I was going with the I got shot, and I got to do that voice as well because it hit me right in the voice cord.
Should have seen the other guy.
Where's Rachel?
Retrologic isn't just a podcast, it's also a retro game store. Visit Retrologic.games to check out our growing inventory of clean, tested, and 100% authentic retro games. Had to throw that in there. So, guys, here we are on this beautiful Monday night. And, Andrew, since you're our guest... Oh, hold on, wait a second. John, how are you?
Man, yeah. Oh, no, I'm doing good,
Every
man.
episode... I just forget you're there. It's weird. I don't know what that is.
If I don't say anything, you just don't know that I'm here. It's like a ninja type skill.
That's what it is.
But no, I'm doing good, man. I got the baby blues because randomly got a baby I got to take care of.
Yeah, you guys fostering?
Yeah, we've got the two siblings, and mom had another baby, so here we are. We got kid number 3. So now I have more kids to put to bed before we start. 5.
Yeah, and then this week I said, "Hey, let's start early."
Oh no, yeah, you're good. I just had to start working my magic, getting the kids down before I almost made it.
You were pretty close. You did good.
Yeah, that's a lot of kiddos to take care of. Kudos to you and your wife.
Yeah, appreciate it.
For sure. He's a busy dude. I'm surprised he has time for this podcast, honestly. He told me on Discord this week that this is the only adult conversation that he enjoys all week, so that's flattering.
Pretty much.
And sad.
Yeah. I mean, work stuff doesn't really count. Like, I got some buddies at work that I would normally talk games and stuff about, but I don't see them regularly now. Like, once a week, maybe. So, yeah, this is my adult game time that I enjoy talking. It's not work meetings that are boring.
Yeah. Yes. And I enjoy doing anything besides taking care of children and shooting weddings these days. So this is a joy for me.
Shooting wedding as a photographer. I'll clarify.
As a videographer, yes. No. The other, that's a distinction I need to make, I guess. Shooting is a general term for lots of things.
Andrew was not at the wedding. That's not how he got shot.
That's not how I got shot. Unrelated bullet wound.
Awesome. Absolutely. Well, Andrew, why don't you go first and tell us anything interesting that you bought or played this week? You could be retro or modern or whatever.
I mean, we're delving slightly into retro here. I have played a lot of Nintendo Wii this week. My son is obsessed with it, loves it. We play a lot of Wii Sports. We play a lot of Wii Party. And those are his favorites. We did play Mario Party 8, which is the last good Mario Party before things went pretty downhill and then have come back a little bit with Super Mario Party. Sorry to all the Mario Party 9 fans out there, all one of you.
Yeah, they don't listen to this podcast.
Shit. Yeah, we don't talk about those ones. Go. Yeah, that's been a blast. It's been fun to go back and visit, and just makes me want a Mii sports game on the Switch. Like, I'm flying around the airplane in Wii Sports Resort, and I'm like, they modeled this whole island. It's just such a cool place. I like it. I've been digging that.
They're going to be Schwees.
Schwees.
Yeah, Schwees.
Yeah. Sweet sports. Sweet sports.
I just got that. Swish Sports.
Yeah, and then I guess I also jumped. I've been doing some game first looks and reviews for the Nintendo Dads. And
our parent company, yes.
yeah. Literally a parent company, huh? Nintendo Dad.
Haha, the dad company.
Yes.
The daddy ship.
And that's been fun. I just actually finished a first look before recording tonight on the Pillar puzzle adventure, and man, that was relaxing. It was nice to play something a little.
You'll definitely get a lot of games that you weren't expecting, and like some different things that you wouldn't normally play. Doing first looks for the Nintendo Dads, I seem to get a lot of weird things to play. If it was just me perusing the eShop, I would probably wouldn't have picked up myself. But
right.
I saw
nice
that
having
you
some help.
Just recently did one. Maybe you're going to talk about this and what you've been playing, getting. But it's like a runner, a dungeon crawly runner.
Yeah,
Loot something.
Loot Hero DX.
So
I don't normally talk about them on here, but we can talk about it. Yeah.
Well, I wanted to bring that one up because I'm pretty sure I played that as a mobile game. Not the DX version, Loot Hero.
I was gonna say,
lots of mobile ports on the Switch.
And I was like, I recognize this game. They've definitely enhanced it a lot since I played it like eons ago on the phone. So that's cool. Just shout out to you. You're not the only one that's played it.
Yeah.
Sometimes it feels like that, but yeah, thanks.
Yeah, so that's really awesome. All I got in the interesting world of Wii stuff. It's so fun to play the Wii again. It makes me happy.
Just the title music, just that background, like when you first boot it up.
There's so much
warms
style.
My heart. You know,
the Wii was all about style. Like everything,
the music
was
for everything
perfect.
is so good. Yeah,
but
that is something I miss about the Switch. There's no music anywhere.
It's just dead.
No menu music, no eShop music. Yeah.
Very simple.
Yep.
I miss it.
It's like the App Store. The App Store never had music, so.
I guess really none of them do, but something that's missing.
Yeah, let's bring back the eShop music. Let's do that.
Yeah.
Start a petition. Start a change.org, and we'll get 12 signatures.
We'll get more signatures than that. I see people begging for the Wii Shop music to return. Everybody loves the Wii Shop.
You know what, though? You know what we got instead, which I love, is the menu music in the NES and SNES Classic mini consoles.
Oh, I love it when they...
Those are so good.
I love it when they add new games to it, and when you first log in. I wish it did this every time, and you like... It opens up like da 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 da, and then on big ones it's like a bigger da 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 da. Like you got Super Metroid. It's just like I just love it.
There's no rhyme or reason to why games are a larger size in the menu than the others. Like there's just some of them are, some of them aren't.
No, yeah, they're just trying to make them fit in there.
Yeah, I'm a geek for system sounds on Nintendo systems.
Yeah.
Which is just dumb, but I love them.
So, John, what about you? You have quite a list here.
Yeah.
You had some pickups this week.
Yeah, I bought all kinds of stuff. I haven't mentioned. This all started because I bought a PSP game. I bought Tactics Ogre for the PSP.
Oh,
and
nice.
I don't have a PSP, so that became a problem. So eventually I started hunting around and trying to figure out which one I wanted and, find a decent price on one. And I finally found one that popped up for, I think it was like $30, $35. It needs a UMD drive, either cleaned or replaced. So I went ahead and bought a new drive to put in it in case it needs it. And once that gets here, I plan on probably picking up a few more PSP games just because I never owned one to try out. So that kind of got me off into a whole nother rabbit hole of collecting them that I probably didn't need in my life, but it's now there. So
rabbit hole of collecting is right.
Yeah, I have way too many rabbit holes of collecting things that I don't need. Mario Kart Hot Wheels is one of them. They're just going to keep making them. I don't know why I keep buying them. It's like, oh,
they're
this
the
Donkey.
they're the new amiibo.
Yeah, this Donkey Kong's in a different car. You buy that one.
Oh,
Like-
I still can't find just a Donkey Kong. I don't want to pay eBay's prices for it. I just want to walk into a store and see one and buy it because I need the Donkey Kong one because that's my dude. So
I'm pretty sure I know where one is.
anybody
at.
out there has a spare or sees one, buy it for me, and I will buy it from you and pay shipping.
I have an extra Toad that is in a tennis shoe. If anyone wants it, I don't know why he's in a tennis shoe, but he's in a tennis shoe. Okay.
No, thank you, John.
We don't want any of your toe fungus in this podcast.
Toad shoe. So anyway, other than the PSP, I bought a whole lot of other things. Battalion Wars 2 for the Wii. I never played that one. I only played the one on GameCube.
Such a good game.
Yeah, I plan on firing it up and trying it out. I just haven't had time. I also
if you like the
up
first one, it's just more of the same.
Oh yeah. I figured it's just the Wii version, so I'll probably enjoy it. Picked up Bomberman Tournament for the Game Boy Advance. This is just another Bomberman game that's pretty much the same old, but I like them. So I usually pick those up when I find them. I picked up a copy of The Adventures of Lolo. I never owned this game, but I played it on the NSO, and it is awesome. Like, I love this game. I already mentioned Tactics Ogre for PSP. For a while, I was hunting down a Game Boy Advance version, but they're like $60 right now. So I got this version for $5. So basically, I got a PSP, a UMD drive, and this game for less than it cost me to buy a Game Boy Advance version of that one game. So it's a win.
Dang, man.
I can't believe that. That's crazy.
So I also finally found a copy of Excitebike 64, which I now own 2 copies of Excitebike because I forgot I threw a random $2 bid on a copy on eBay and I won somehow. No one else bid on it. So now I have 2 copies of Excitebike.
Yeah. Awesome.
I hear a Retrologic giveaway in
yes.
the future.
Hey, you could do a giveaway, John. Do
Here
it
I
on
am
Discord.
just selling John's stuff.
It'll be
I have
crossplay themed.
Lots of stuff to give away. But I'm not... I mean, usually if I have extra copies of stuff laying around, I find good homes for them. So I also found Plants vs. Zombies for the DS, which is funny because we were just talking about this on the last episode.
Yeah.
And there just happened to be one at this flea market I walked into. I was like, how much is that? $2? Yeah, I'll take that.
That's a pretty good. I think that's like a $10, $15 DS game.
Yeah, it's complete. It's got the book and everything. So,
Sweet.
I mean, for $2, it's definitely worth it. And then
You can't go wrong with any of those PopCap games.
No, they're good. I've only played the mobile version, but I imagine the DS plays very similar, being touchscreen and everything. Yeah. And then last but not least, Limited Run had their 5-year celebration sale, and they were reselling copies of games they had laying around that they had previously sold out on. And I'd been wanting Turok 1 and 2 for the Switch physically, and they're ones that I didn't buy right away because there for a while, like a lot of them were going to Best Buy. So I would wait for them to go to Best Buy and then wait for them to go on sale because, Best Buy is pretty good at rotating their game sale. And a lot of times I could pick up limited run games for like $20. So these ones went to Best Buy and then sold out immediately and never went on sale. So I missed them completely.
Oh my gosh.
So they just recently popped back up again and I bought them and these finally showed up and they're awesome. The cases I'm glad I got the ones from Limited Run because Best Buy gets an alternate cover when they sell them. And the ones from Limited Run have like a holographic cover, like artwork in them. So
awesome.
Yeah, it kind of looks like a Pokemon card whenever they have the holographic artwork. So yeah, it was definitely worth picking up. And so that's all my pickups. And really, I didn't play anything.
That's all. That's it, John.
Yeah. That's all for the all
Sorry,
for this
I have
week.
I have quite a few myself this week too, so that's fine.
But I haven't really had a whole lot of time to play a whole lot. Getting the baby pretty early last week, and then that's pretty much been all my time when I'm not working. But I did find some time to test out the RetroPie software on my Raspberry Pi, and so I sat down and played like an hour of Metroid Zero Mission on there. Other than that, I just played the crossplay game, which since I finally got a hold of Excitebike 64, I could try that one out.
Nice. You got to pop it in?
I did.
Cool. Yeah, so we'll talk about that once we get to our crossplay section, which should be pretty short. I didn't make a whole lot of progress this week, so shouldn't be a long conversation. I'm hoping I can beat it.
Yeah, I won't ever beat
We'll wait till we
Excitebike.
get to that. Yeah, I know. Never.
All right, what'd you get?
Awesome. Well, so speaking of collecting can of worms, I have started my Sega Genesis collection. It's my first non-Nintendo console to collect for this round of me collecting stuff. Because I did have a really great collection around the 2005, 2006, up until like 2007, and then sold everything. And then now I'm back. So of this round of collecting, this is my first non-Nintendo console to start collecting, which is a pretty obvious one. I'm going cartridge only because for some reason, the boxed Genesis games, which used to be not too far off from the cartridges, because most people kept their Genesis boxes. They were plastic, they were nice.
Made more sense.
It wasn't like having a Super Nintendo as a kid and like, oh, cardboard, throw that away, you know? So they're out there, but the prices have just kind of like doubled the cartridge price. And I went back and forth because collecting Genesis games, unlike collecting Super Nintendo or NES or N64 or any of these other cartridges, Genesis games were very much not uniform. EA games had the weird yellow tab and they stuck out, and then some games had like a dome on top, and
yeah.
I'm going to say it right now too. Their stickers that they put on their cartridges, not as good. They're very hard to find in good shape. Seems like they're
always bubbling on the top, right?
Bubbling. Yeah, they have issues.
Yeah. So I'm going to try to stick to like a good cosmetic condition, but I will probably just stick to cartridge only. It's just for prices, and really my motivation for collecting is to be able to play these games, not just to have some stuff lying around. So I'm just getting the stuff that I want, and I'm only getting cartridges, and that's just going to be how my Genesis collection is. Not going to be the prettiest thing in the world, but I'm going to get the games that I love, and that's why I do what I do. So my first lot I won for my personal collection, not to put in the store, which is, I haven't been doing a lot of shopping for myself other than like action figures and stuff, which I'll talk about another time. Because that's a whole problem that I have now. I got sad and I bought like way too many action figures. So I picked up Sonic 2, Sonic 3, 3D Blast, Spinball. They're all staples. And this lot was also Mega Bomberman.
Yeah.
Which
Nice.
isn't super. It's like it's not super expensive. It's like a $20 cartridge. But I don't ever see it in lots. I never see this thing pop up. Like, I'll see it in individual listings, but it's not like as prevalent as most other Genesis like staples.
Is it?
Do you have that one?
I do. I don't have any
John?
Genesis games. I don't have a Sega Genesis.
Oh, you don't have any
Yeah,
Genesis.
I've
Okay.
seen it in stores.
Don't start him, Dan. He'll go down that rabbit hole as well.
I've already been looking at getting one because we've been talking more Sega on the show, and I just have like almost no experience with
Calling
Sega.
you, John.
My cousin had a Game
Sega.
Gear, so I played quite a bit of Game Gear, but Genesis, I played the Sonic games. I played Comic Zone and Vector Man, I think, and that's like my Genesis.
It's pretty good. The Genesis games, in my opinion, is that a lot of Genesis games don't hold up as well today compared to Super Nintendo games because they were very flashy. They relied on spectacle and not so much on like gameplay.
Yep.
And that's not every game. That's like a good majority of the games. You talked about Comic Zone and Vector Man and those kinds of games, Sonic 3D Blast. They look great. They're so cool to look at. But playing those games now, it's like, it just kind of leaves something to be desired. That being said, I have a ton of nostalgia for the Sega Genesis. I had one as a kid. My brother had it actually, and we would play it nonstop. Hours of Toe Jam and Earl. Hours upon hours of Toe Jam and Earl. So that's very high on my list.
It's very shocking.
But anyway, yeah, that's my kind of like starter kit for Sega Genesis. I already have a Model 1. So I'm good to go now. I could start playing some Genesis games. And then lastly, besides Super Metroid this week, I played some Borderlands 2, which I picked back up after a long hiatus. I'm at the last part of the game. I feel that I'm at the last part of the game at least. And I just kind of stopped when Age of Calamity came out, I think. Or something came out, and I was like, I'll drop this for now. Picked it back up, and it didn't take me any time at all to reassess, reacquaint myself with how to play that game. It took no time. It took 60 seconds, and I was back in.
Now we can bring.
And I'm really thankful for that.
Now we can bring the jokes back. Like the Borderland jokes were getting pretty hot and heavy there for a while.
Yeah, I'll bring them back. Retro. Welcome to Borderlands Logic, the podcast all about Borderlands. So that's me this week. And with that being said, let's jump into our first round of Prices Retro. So if this is your first time listening, The Price is Retro is our game that we play. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a lot of 3 to 5 games, and I'm going to tell you their condition and their console, and you have to guess what that lot is worth based on the current pricecharting.com value of these games. That those prices change, so if you're listening to this in the future at some point, then these prices might not be applicable anymore. But as of this recording, this is what the prices were, and so we're gonna go around the horn and guess the lots, and whoever gets the closest, either high or low, wins a fabulous prize. My eternal respect. That's the prize.
You're welcome. Pretty dang cool prize. So
Yeah.
I don't respect very much in life, so it is worth quite a bit. So, Andrew, since you are our guest, why don't you go through and you're just going to list the game, the condition, the console, and the price of your list of games. Wait, sorry. Don't follow those instructions. Man, I'm so bad at giving instructions for this. What is wrong with me?
I'll give
John, you should do this part.
The name, so I give the name and the
everything
condition.
I said except the price.
So
yes,
name,
exactly.
You need name, condition, console. That's what you need.
I'm such a dum-dum sometimes. Okay, go ahead.
All right, so I like to do the themed lists. So my theme this time is a little more abstract. It's accessories required. So all of these games are going to require some weird accessory, and I went all Nintendo, being a Nintendo Pal host. Gotta hold true to the name.
Super Scope 6.
That's on my list.
Oh,
John, how you got? Yeah. He's gonna kill my list because he owns all these things. I've got first up, Stack Up for the NES, a game that requires the ROB, the ROB.
Cartridge only or complete?
Cartridge only. All of these are going to be cart only, not including the accessory. So it's just you'll.
Okay.
Next up is Mario Clash for the Virtual Boy. And the weird accessory
John
here
does
is
own
the
all
Virtual
these.
Boy.
Yeah. It turned into an accessory, didn't it? Accessory to a crime.
And then third on my list.
I don't know what that means. What a dumb joke.
Third on my list is Super Game Scope 6 for the SNES. And then we have Mario Party 6 for the GameCube.
Mm-hmm.
And that one required a microphone.
It did. Not a very good one, but it did.
It's
so
the
now
same
John
one
and I are
from
going to
Hey
guess.
You. It's the same one from Hey You Pikachu that they just, gave a GameCube plug. I have one more. That was 4. So this is 5th.
Oh, you have 5. Okay, go ahead.
The Mario Artist Paint Studio for the N64 disk drive.
There it is.
This is my weird one. The Japan only N64 DD. All right, so I'll run through.
Here's why that's hard. Because the Japanese culture doesn't value the retro, or they don't not value it, but like a lot of the Japanese retro stuff isn't worth as much over there as it is in North America. Like the North American version of a game will be worth twice or more than what the Japanese version is worth.
Sure.
So I'm like, oh, is it like a cool thing? So Americans made it cost more, or is it like just a cheap?
Well, especially since we didn't get it over here, which makes it even more difficult.
This uses an N64 mouse, similar to the.
Also, like, what's the demand for that thing? You know what I mean? Like, who has a disk drive to play?
All those Mario Paint fans.
5 people have it.
I mean, that's me, but I'm not going to go buy an N64 disk drive. That's not
those things
in
are
my
like
price range.
$1,000.
Yeah.
So do you need me to run through the list again real quick?
No. John, do you?
No, I'm good.
You could run through it real quick just for our listeners, though.
Stack Up for NES, Mario Clash for Virtual Boy, Super Game Scope 6 for the SNES, Mario Party 6 for the GameCube, and Mario Artist Paint Studio for the N64 disk drive.
Okay, I have my price.
Go for it.
So I'm going to say $330 for this lot. John?
We were really close. I was going to say $350.
Okay.
The price of my lot is $268.
Yes!
Dan wins that round.
Yes.
It's not too bad.
Got it.
You guys weren't very far off. I was
It's
like,
these
are all over the place.
Game.
I know.
These are all over the place.
So we do the price of each game after we all do our lots. So that's like kind of at the end we'll listen to all the prices of each game. Yep. So good deal. All right, I'm going to go ahead and go next. John, are you ready with your spreadsheet?
Yes.
Cool. All right. So I have a Bomberman theme with mine, and I only have 3 games. Okay. Only have 3 games. Wait, actually, hold on. I have to adjust something. So, okay. I only have 3 games. So, Bomberman 64, The Second Attack on N64.
Okay.
Cartridge only. Bomberman 2 for the NES, cartridge only. And Bomberman Fantasy Race for the PlayStation, complete.
I've never even heard of that last one.
Me neither.
It's my wild card, man.
I've heard of it, but I don't know how much it is. So I'm going to be guessing on that last
Bomberman
one.
Fantasy Race. I looked at some video of this game, and it looks damn fun. It is like Bomberman Mario Kart. Actually, it's more like Bomberman Sonic R, because y'all are like riding stuff and running and all that jazz.
Nice.
Yeah.
So I think I have my price, and I'll go first on this one. I'm going to say $280.
Okay.
I'm going to
Andrew?
say 90.
Okay. It's fair price. Fair guess. The value of this lot is $356.
Oh, there goes my game.
Yeah.
Hopes and dreams crushed.
Sorry.
What's
Some obscure stuff in there.
Yeah.
Huh?
So
All right.
I made my list before I knew you were going to be on, Andrew. Otherwise, it was really there to make John happy with all the Bomberman.
Yes, I love Bomberman.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I can't wait to hear the price breakdown of that. Because that's like, what,
Yeah, it's
average
pretty
of over
bonkers.
$100 per game?
Yeah. That PlayStation 1 must be a little more pricey than what I was anticipating.
Yeah, I was expecting some curveball where they're all going to actually be like $10 a piece.
No, someone did that
yeah.
to us the last time with their Kingdom Hearts games. I can't remember who that was.
Oh, who
I don't
did
know
that?
who did that.
It had to have been Mole. Had to have been Sam. All right, go ahead, John.
All right, so my list of games also has kind of a theme this time for once. They're usually really random, but I decided to go with a PSP game theme this time, and these are just some games I've been looking at picking up.
Dang.
First game on the list is Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII for the PSP Complete. Second game is Mega Man Dual Pack for the PSP Complete. This has Mega Man powered up and Maverick Hunter X included. The third game is Ys 7, the Premium Edition for the PSP Complete. And then the last game on my list is Class of Heroes 2 for the PSP Complete.
I have never heard of that game in my entire life. Class of Heroes?
Yep.
Oh my god.
It's a little
okay.
RPG guy.
I'm going to...
Pick a number. Oh, it's an RPG. Okay, well, there's a little context for me. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Well, you just said you didn't have any idea what it was, so I figured
I'm going to give it a
Very good.
guess.
Thank you for the
I'm
bone.
going to give it a guess here. I think this lot is going to go for $137.
Alrighty.
That's not too far off from my guess. My
All right, what's your
my
guess?
highly uneducated guess. $155 for the lot. Thank you, John.
Alrighty. And the total for my lot is $209.
Oof.
Okay.
A little pricier than I was thinking.
Not too far off. I that could have gone in the thousands of dollars for all I freaking knew. So
That's PSP. I don't think there's any of them that are
Yeah,
that
but
valuable.
That's why I was guessing low. Because
Yeah.
I was like, John's not going to be looking at games that are, through the roof in pricing.
We've done that before.
Yes.
And it was not fun.
I meant he was
okay.
saying he was looking to buy these.
Yeah,
so,
I kind of
so
gave
I
it
was-
there
I
at
was
the
looking.
beginning.
That's true. That's true. All right. So John, give us the damages. Who won this time?
So the winner of this Price's Retro game is Dan. His total difference was
Yes!
$116. My total difference
losing
was
lately.
$158. And our guest, Andrew, had a total difference of $338. So,
Still didn't
is-
beat Nick.
no, Nick
Thanks,
still
Nick.
has the highest. So,
Shout out to
Yeah.
my buddy Nintendo for making me feel better.
Yeah. Shout out to Dad Crossing. What a great podcast.
man, you broke
Fantastic.
a 3-game winning streak for me. This would have been number 4 if I won.
Yes. Get out of here with that winning streak. All right. Okay, Andrew, go ahead and list off your game individual prices.
So Stack Up on the NES is actually going for $95. Mario Clash for Virtual Boy is going for $47.
Mhm.
Super Game Scope, just the game, $20. Mario
Okay.
Party 6
Really?
for $68.
Yeah, Super Scope
And-
6 has gone up, I guess. Because it used to be like a $6 game.
That was cheap. That was like sports game bargain bin crap. That's
yeah.
weird.
And Mario Artist Paint Studio for the N64 Disk Drive is $38.
$38.
Okay.
There were actually
Yeah, mine kind of balanced out a little bit.
Yeah, there were several Mario Artist games available for sale, and that one was like smack dab in the middle in the price range. Some in the 50s, 60s.
I overguessed on the Disk Drive game just because I had no clue if it was a more valuable game because it wasn't available. You know, a lot of times the Japanese versions are cheaper when there is an American version present.
Right.
Sometimes those Japanese only games get up there.
What was your guess, John?
On the for his lot?
Just for the Mario.
I was thinking about $80. I was thinking about $80. Whenever
that was right. I was at 75 with you, so that's like kind of in between. Like it's not dirt cheap, but it's not like $200. That's like a good little mid-range price.
Yeah,
that's why our guesses are only $20 off from each other.
Yeah, exactly. That was great. That was a good lot there, Andrew.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, so here's the deal with Bomberman. Bomberman 64, the second attack, cartridge only, is a $200 N64 game. Bomberman 2, Bomberman 2 for the NES is cartridge only, is $117. Mm-hmm. And then Bomberman Fantasy Race for the PlayStation is like a $36 game.
Yeah,
those
have the other two have gone up quite a bit since I've looked at them last because I was looking at getting
Bomberman second attack is
it was like 150 when I looked at it last, so it's gone up quite a bit.
Yeah. For some reason COVID has made everything go up quite a bit. Yeah. So
it's all the money that we have
even Super Scope 6 went up to $20 inexplicably. Yeah. So
well, I have a complete inbox Super Scope with 6 still.
Nice.
So
that's cool.
I'm sure that's gone up quite a bit.
Do you have Stack Up? Because you have a Rob, don't you?
I don't have Stack Up because that $100 price is kind of, you don't usually see it for that. It's usually quite a bit more. Yeah. Even as a regular cartridge. Like I've been seeing them go for like $150.
If you see it at auction, it probably gets a little lower, but
if you catch it in the swing of things in the auction, you could probably get a better deal on one. But just out in the wild, like local shops and stuff, they're like $150 from what I've seen.
Good deal. All right, John, so anyway, it is your lot up next for your prices.
So my PSP lot, Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII Complete is $24. The Mega Man Dual Pack with Powered Up and Maverick Hunter X is $25 complete. This is the one that probably was what you were thinking that last game was going to be, but E7 Premium Edition goes for $110 complete.
Dang.
It's probably one of the most valuable ones.
I went too low on that one.
And then Classic Heroes 2 complete is $50. So
I wasn't far off at all on the other ones, but East threw me off completely.
Yeah, East games they hold their value pretty well.
Yeah. Good deal. Well, good game, everyone. Thanks for playing, and thanks for playing at home. If you got close at home, you can hit me up on Twitter at Retrologic.games and let me know. Tell me what your guesses were, and I will celebrate with you with enthusiasm.
Yeah, and don't forget to send us lists. We'll do them on the show.
Yeah. Yes. Send us if you have a list you want us to guess on the show and be part of the game, shoot me a message on Twitter or DM me on Discord, and I will give you instructions on how to give that to us. And I promise that I will not screw up the instructions this time for the third time. Third time's a charm. So we're going to jump next right into some news, because there is a reason that Andrew's on the show tonight. There's a very good reason. And that reason is that something I think is super cool to look at is an early development build of Ocarina of Time. At the time it was called Zelda 64, was discovered on a flashed ROM cart of an F-Zero X development cartridge. And so there's been some work done to uncover this data and make it playable on an emulator, and to kind of go through and see what the developers were doing with the game before we got it at retail.
I just picture
and there's a whole.
I just picture this guy dressed as Indiana Jones, running through like a museum cave. He finds this cartridge, like uses his whip to pull it from the casing, gets it in there. This is archaeology in gaming, right here. What we have.
Yeah.
Pulls the game out right before a giant rock rolls over it.
Yeah, man.
Legitimately. And this is the kind of stuff that otherwise we're never going to see or hear about, especially from Nintendo, who's just very secretive about their whole development process.
Oh man. So if I could just say before we dive too much into discussion on this, they had the huge Giga Leak last year, which a bunch of old assets like this came out. I really wish that at this point Nintendo would put together an official like documentary or art book with something like detailing the stories. I mean, we've got a lot of the guys that were working on these projects are still around, and they're getting up there. A lot of them are starting to leave the development company. I don't know if you guys saw the news of what's his name? Creator of Majora's design.
His name is Takaya Imamura.
Yes, Imamura leaving. So guys like that are starting to leave. You gotta make this documentary before they go, so they can give their stories and talk about the artwork. Man, it would be such a cool thing. I would love it.
I would love that. I think, unfortunately, from like a corporate level, Nintendo is very wary of like trade secret stuff, because they're such an innovation-driven company that they don't want people knowing the ins and outs of their company in that way. So I'm sure Imamura has signed like 1,000 DMAs since he left. Like, you can't talk about this or this or this. You know what I mean? But like behind the scenes stuff. I think that it's really, really cool when like an indie development studio, like the developers of Hades, they had a whole documentary series going on during the development of that game, through development and beta and launch and all of that. And it's so cool to watch. So if Nintendo did something like that for like a Zelda game, like they would blow up the internet constantly. I don't think it's ever going to happen. I just don't think that that's the company that'll do
That's also a totally American thing to do. Like, that's not something you're going to see a Japanese company do. They like to hold everything right here, real close. Mm-hmm. They're not going to do a documentary telling you, all the things they did before they released the game.
Yeah.
But I will say, under the new leadership, it's probably more likely now than it's ever been.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
yeah, they're definitely doing a lot more unique things that we didn't see from Nintendo before.
Mm-hmm. So, that being said, there's a whole YouTube series you can go on. Oh, wow, I did not put that in my notes, but I really want to show off this guy's name. Okay, the YouTube channel is Hard for Games, and he's got a whole series of... He's got tons of stuff, unreleased game footage and stuff. But he's got 4 or 5 videos out now just documenting the stuff that was uncovered from this leak. And I'm going to go through just a little bit of some of the stuff that I thought was really interesting from these videos. Just because I just think it's so cool. I'm super into it.
It's sweet.
So the first video he talks about item art. And the thing that's really interesting, it shows like all the different items that would show up like on your little C button cursors up in the corner with what their icons look like. And there's something that looks like a blue shell for Mario Kart. It was an unused asset in the final game, right? But like wouldn't it be cool if like there was like a red shell type item where you like launched it and it like attacked an enemy or something like that? Like, what would that be like?
Yeah, I'm trying to think what that could have been. I wonder if it was like a spiky
It
ball
almost looks like
weapon.
a shield. Yeah. Oh, right. Kind of like from Twilight Princess.
Yeah, that's what I immediately was like, oh, maybe this is like a precursor to that, but I don't know. It did look more shell.
That's possible.
Maybe it got replaced by the
but
bomb
maybe
chew.
it's like you throw it. Oh, bomb chew. Yeah. Because the bomb. I don't think the bomb chew. I don't remember seeing it in the art that I saw, but I may have. I don't have the screenshots in front of me. Just a list.
Kind of similar to throwing a turtle shell in Mario Kart. You lay it down and it just kind of goes.
That's true. There was also arrows, kind of like how you have fire arrows, ice arrows with the dots on them. There were arrows that corresponded, a color that corresponded to each temple in the game. So like you would get like maybe like a spirit arrow, or like a shadow arrow or a water arrow or whatever, which are things that are not in the final game. What is that?
So now water arrows. Nobody wants those. Get them out of here.
Yeah, put the fires out from a distance. I don't know.
Yeah, it might have been good against certain types of enemies. I don't know
Thirsty
what
enemies.
I don't know what a darkness arrow or light arrow would have done. Maybe it would have been kind of like the ancient arrows in Breath of the Wild, like insta-kill.
I'm sure it was just like early development art where they were like, yeah, let's make a ton of arrows. And then when they actually made the game, they were like, these aren't really that useful, so let's not do that.
Guy shoots the water arrow and the re-dead like puts a glass up and gets some water.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I thought.
And then the next video, he goes through some early fairy fountain. He goes through the Kakariko village, and then the video after that, he has a whole thing about inside the Deku Tree temple, and it looks totally different.
Weird. Yeah, it's so weird.
Isn't
it has windows. How does that work?
Yeah. There's no windows in a tree.
Sure, they do tree houses. I mean,
but there's squirrels living in there. Oh yeah, sure. I just thought that it reminded me way more of the actual forest temple than it did from of the final Deku temple. Although a couple areas look the same, like the final boss area looked the same.
yeah, I mean that's pretty basic.
It still had that. Yeah, it was very basic, but I mean it's a development kit. I just thought that it was very interesting to me just how different the final Deku Tree was, just in format and layout from what they were developing.
Well,
it's
yeah,
so
man.
cool to see that.
Miyamoto saw it and he flipped the tea table and said, "Hey, new Deku Tree, get on it."
Well, from what I saw, there was
This isn't good enough.
Yeah.
There was, from what I saw, heard, there was stuff in there that was the Deku Tree was originally designed to be something totally different, where it was like it was like a prison for fairies that Link had to go save Navi out of.
Oh,
I don't know how. I don't have any source or links or anything like that, but it's interesting because if that is true, how different it is. You know, they're like, well, it's kind of morbid to house fairies inside of a tree prison, so let's just kill him instead. He'll just die.
It's like the grandfather of all
just
trees.
give him a disease.
Yeah. Just fill him with
to
horrifying
change it, they were
spiders.
Yeah, exactly. Because once the temple was inside a tree, they couldn't have windows anymore. So
Exactly.
They showed this one segment in the next video where it was Goron Mines, and it was just like a labyrinth of rock, is what he says, and that's exactly it. And I don't understand. Because the final Goron mine is like an open kind of place with like a few caverns you go through to reach lower levels.
It's like a lot
but this was just like a bunch of intertwining like spider webbing tunnels.
Yeah,
No big area.
Yeah, they went with like catwalks instead, which made it a lot cooler, I think.
I do like the idea of the tunnels and the caverns, which I do think they revisited with Twilight Princess's Goron mines, which were much more tunnel-like, if I recall correctly.
Yeah.
I think it's a totally different aesthetic. even though they're both rock inside the mountain kind of looks. It's one's much more claustrophobic feeling, and you feel they invoke different feelings with what they do with the spacing. So that's very cool. I liked the. I was going to point out the. It looked like early screenshots of like the inside of the Temple of Time.
Yes.
Which look very similar to the final product, but it was just cool to see that early design version of it. And we didn't hit this, but if you look at the Ocarina in the item slots, the Ocarina of Time actually has the 3 stones that you collect in the Ocarina,
right?
Which I think, man, I'm sad they scrapped that, because that's a cool idea.
Yeah, they should have kept it.
Yeah, because then they wouldn't have been so useless seeming.
That's really interesting.
They're just keys now.
And another thing too is the difference in the final game. The final game, you like play the song on the Ocarina, but in an early build of the game, Link holds you like select a music note, and Link holds the music note above his head and plays the song. So he's not physically playing the Ocarina in the game, which I'm glad they changed that, because actually physically playing the Ocarina in game is a really, really cool mechanic.
Yeah.
But you have all the music notes sitting there too in the item slots.
Yeah,
so
and
that's really
the
cool.
stones actually looked more like little music notes and pieces than than gems.
Something else that I thought invoked a lot of Twilight Princess vibes was how vast each of the open areas were. Whereas how Ocarina of Time ended up was that you have a giant Hyrule field and then like a few branching paths into these smaller areas like Kakariko, and the next biggest area, which was like Hylia and those kinds of things, and almost no pre-rendered towns or anything like that. What I mean is that there were no pre-rendered towns in the development kit that we saw. But in Twilight Princess, there's actually not a lot of giant Hyrule field type places. There's a bunch of big maps that are intertwining that you walk through. And that reminded me way more of Twilight Princess in the early Ocarina of Time development build than the actual Ocarina of Time we got, which was fine, you know. I just think it's cool that we're seeing a little bit of a glimpse of what they were about to do with Twilight Princess, or like, you know, when they started Twilight Princess, they were like, okay, what were some cool ideas we liked about Ocarina of Time, but because of budget or time or development cost or just the limitations of the N64, we couldn't do, and now they're able to execute. So I think that's one of the most interesting things about this whole thing.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things he said in the video was that's probably why they gave you a horse, is because they had these giant areas take forever to traverse. Well, have a horse, you know? So we got Epona.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's
you look
very
back now, it's not really that big. You don't need the horse as much.
Yeah, like he's useful in the field, Hyrule field, but that's after that.
That's true.
Yeah.
Anymore, you can just glitch out and run backwards faster than the horse can run anyway. So
yeah.
Exactly.
It's fun to look at these and kind of like you were saying, Dan, imagine what could have been, and some alternate reality, what the game could have been if they decided to move forward with certain design decisions. And in this case, I really do, looking at these, feel like it was precursor to future games like Twilight Princess, where they were experimenting a lot, being the first 3D Zelda ever. They were doing tons of experimentation. They were like, what works, what doesn't work, what can we do in 3D, what can't. Just the fact that Hyrule Castle was totally polygonal, whereas in the final game, it's almost all pre-rendered. Yep. You know, the whole town is pre-rendered. The castle's pre-rendered. Or no, I guess when you get up to the castle, it's actually, you know, polygonal. But right.
But that I thought was really cool.
Yeah, I mean, it was a tall order. They had to figure out how they were going to go from Link to the Past to 3D with no experience whatsoever other than Mario.
And it had to be awesome. So that's just about all that we can say right now. He's going to release some more videos as more data mining happens. But as of now, I just think that it is so cool to look back and see what could have been, or what pieces of this ended up in Wind Waker or Twilight Princess or even Breath of the Wild. Like, what other stuff are we going to see later that will show us just more of a glimpse into what it was like developing this game?
The better question is, what happened to F-Zero? I mean, you can clearly see that Nintendo truly trusted F-Zero with the secrets of Zelda, but they won't make a new one.
We forget what cart we're even looking at.
I just grabbed that one over there. It's just got a big X on it. We don't.
Whatever. Just got a big X on it. I don't have F-Zero X. I need to get that one.
I have X or
GX.
GX.
I
have GX. GX is the best.
Yeah.
I don't care what anybody says.
I've got to just.
Are we going to have that conversation right now?
No. I mean, I agree, but it's one of those that I always miss out on. I have all the rest of them except for those two.
Yeah, you have the two. You
Game
don't
Boy
have
Advance?
the two most expensive ones. Yeah, so.
Yep.
Yeah. I dig that this is a field that exists now in culture, to data mine random cartridges for things like Ocarina of Time. And we're looking at a foot tall F-Zero. I don't remember what the cartridge is. It's like this real obscure.
It's super tall. It's like, it looks like Tower of Power Sega Genesis style, like giant cartridge.
Yeah, and
it was a dev cart, so I'm sure it had all kinds of extra RAM and things built in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's just cool that this exists, that to the point, and is cool enough to the point that people like us get together and talk about it on a podcast, and that there are people out there that are data mining this stuff to look for new things, because Nintendo's not giving it to us. So it's cool to get to see some history kind of. This legitimately is like a form of archaeology. It's very cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I just hope that it's all well documented.
Yeah.
I hope it's all well documented, and someday we can kind of get some sort of story here, like piece together bits of information to try to see what was going on behind the scenes. Not on like a day-to-day, but almost from like a development cycle timeline, that would be really cool to see someday if somebody pieces all the information we have into a little story. I'd be down for that.
Well, I mean, I almost want to look back at like the Nintendo Power archives and see if any of these screenshots made it, because you did see a lot of early developmental stuff in Nintendo Power. Like, I remember seeing screenshots of Zelda 64 when that's what it was called still. Yeah,
so some of these levels, I in the look-throughs I was watching, some of these levels were clearly in screenshots in Nintendo Power for Zelda 64. So like the early builds of Kakariko or some
that shooting range that never ended up in the final game. They advertised it in screenshots.
Yep.
So it is there, and that's what you're like, what? This is these pictures we never saw, Yeah,
well, I mean, when you're a kid, you just look at them and you're like, oh, this looks cool, and then you forget about it when the game comes out.
Yeah, right. It's like same thing with game trailers these days. There's stuff in game trailers that aren't even in the final game, and you're like, wait, what? Wasn't this a thing?
Yeah, or movies. Movies will have additional scenes thrown in, and then they're like, they never even happened in the movie.
Oh man, Marvel started to do that on purpose. That's
throw people
funny.
Off.
Yep,
that's funny.
Yeah, I dig this. This is so cool.
Speaking of Nintendo history, we want to take just a little bit more time and chat about Mr. Takaya Imamura and his contribution to Nintendo over the past 32 years. This man is, first and foremost, he's an artist. He's a character artist. And he did like almost all of the design work for Majora's Mask, which is an incredible feat in one of the most, probably one of the most, like, as far as just artistic direction goes, one of the best designed video games ever. I mean, you can't walk for 5 minutes into that game without feeling a sense of dread, and that is just an incredible feat to do in a video game.
Well, there was tons of characters and lots of
characters.
Lots of like the character design was really specific to the characters in that game. It reminds me a lot of Skyward Sword. How there was a lot more characters built into the story.
And it kind of built off of what Ocarina of Time was doing, but he gave the game its own identity. Right? Totally walked away. It didn't feel like Ocarina of Time. You could tell from what the characters were doing and who they were. This was a totally different animal.
Well, yeah, you went from Ocarina of Time, which had maybe 8 actual character sprites in there. You had like the town was dead. There's no one in there.
Yeah.
And then you get Majora's Mask, and all of a sudden there's this vibrant village of people. You got kids, you got salesmen, guards, all these things. You get to meet all these people in there. You got to develop each one, personally. So it's a pretty neat deal.
He also worked on the creation of the characters from Star Fox, Captain Falcon, F-Zero, those characters. So he holds a special place in my heart because Star Fox is absolutely one of my favorite Nintendo franchises. And it's just so like, why forest animals? Why? I don't know. It works. We look back on it and we're like, this is kind of weird, but no, it totally works for a space opera type.
I think they already had the puppets.
Anthropomorphic animal.
They already had the puppets, and they were like, let's just design the game around these guys. It works.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, it was puppets first. That does make sense.
And F-Zero was his first game. He joined Nintendo in 1989, and he started working on F-Zero.
He made Captain Falcon.
What else?
Man,
he made Captain Falcon. Some of this early drawing of Starwolf with his team is so cool, man. Like some of this stuff that they're showing off here, but
you gotta mention at least one of his greatest creations, which all the articles are reporting with such and such creator dies, and that is Tingle. Not dies, moves.
I guess we have to talk about Tingle.
I completely messed up. He retired.
Yeah.
He did not die. Gosh.
Yeah, he just killed the guy. Good gosh.
Wow. Not yet.
Tingle was
you can't talk about Tingle without talking about death and morbidity, though, can you? Because what a terrible, terrible human being Tingle is.
I mean, we got freshly picked Tingle's Rosy Rupee Land and ripened Tingle's Balloon Trip of Love, all thanks to this guy.
I don't even know what to say to that. I'm at a loss.
I haven't played either one of those games and probably won't.
These are ones I want to play so that I can really be the Zelda expert. You guys can bring me back on and we can talk.
Can we talk about Star Fox again? Can we talk about Star Fox again? He modeled the character faces from Fox, Falco, Peppy, and Slippy out from his friends. So the character model for Fox McCloud was modeled after Shigeru Miyamoto, which I think is freaking cool.
Yeah.
I don't. How exactly?
You don't see the resemblance? I mean, it's pretty.
I mean, there is that one time.
I think they look exactly
didn't
the same.
Miyamoto turn into Fox, or did he turn into Falco?
He turned into a Muppet. Yeah, he sure did.
Yeah.
So I'm telling you, they were there first.
It's full circle. I didn't know that was there's deeper meaning there. Puppets were the puppets were always
so
there.
I just wanted to highlight that because what a cool piece of history, what an awesome dude, and he worked on one of my favorite game franchises of all time, so I had to bring it up.
I didn't know you were such a big F-Zero fan, Dan. That's great.
Yeah. Oh man, I just love Captain Funko or whatever. Didn't he own Funko Land? That's why it's called Funko Land, because of Captain Funko. And
name another character from F-Zero.
Crap. No, wait. There's that one guy. Who's the villain? Yeah, I can't. Yeah,
see, yeah.
So
the blue devil is his vehicle, right? That's the vehicle's name. The Blue Devil.
Blue Lightning, Blue Storm, Blue
Falcon.
Taco.
Blue Falcon. Gosh dang it! I knew that. It was so dumb. Oh my goodness.
Is it the Blue Falcon?
Obviously, we are not the ones. Obviously, we should stop talking about F-Zero while we're ahead, okay? Let's just stop while we're ahead. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we've got some crossplay to catch up with. We've got some community questions to talk about, and we will see you guys in just a second. Welcome back, and unfortunately we have to come back on a sad note because my good friend Andrew, whose screen name is the namesake of one of my favorite games, Andros, he has to leave because it is very late where he is and he has to get up for work in the morning. And we want to respect your time, Andrew, and we want to thank you from the bottom of our hearts for coming on and talking some Zelda with us. It's always a pleasure. Why don't you talk about what you have going on really quick before you head out?
Yeah, so I'll quickly plug over to the Nintendo Pals podcast, where I am a co-host and showrunner. We talk all things Nintendo. We've got a sweet community built up over on Discord. There's a lot of crosstalk between us and the Retrologic guys.
We're practically sisters.
Practically, yeah. With different dads. You got the Nintendo dads, and I've got orphanage, I guess. I don't know where I was going with that. I was gonna have some cool. We're owned by Disney. Not true.
Nice.
But yeah, definitely come check out the podcast. We'd love to have more people checking it out and talking Nintendo everything. And I've just, man, I'm so glad you guys hit me up to come talk Zelda. It makes me feel special to be considered a somewhat Zelda expert, even though that's not true. Thanks, Dan.
You're my Zelda guy, man. I mean, there's lots of Zelda guys, but you're my Zelda guy. Anyway.
I mean, I fought so hard for Ocarina of Time to win #1 last time. It did feel right to come and talk about it.
We just won't bring you back for the F-Zero podcast.
Well, yeah, no, I know so much about F-Zero.
Is that a thing? Is that a thing we're doing? Are we gonna? I don't think that's.
We'll have to do one at some point. You'll have to
eventually, I guess, where it's gonna hit the calendar.
Do we have anybody in the Retrologic community that is a F-Zero expert? You know, like you've played all the games to completion.
If they were part of the community, they certainly won't be after listening to this garbage. So
yeah, we just lost our F-Zero expert.
Come back. I'm sorry. Teach us, Sensei.
F-Zero X
all right,
expert.
So we got to let Andrew go, but we want to send him off with a big thank you, and we will see you on the Nintendo Pals. See you later, dude.
Awesome. Thank you so much, guys.
Now that he's gone, let's talk about our community and how awesome it is. We've got the coolest community over on Discord. We are 100% non-toxic, friendly, inclusive. If you are just starting out as a retro collector and you want to chat with some cool friends, this is the place to be. If you've been collecting your whole life, this is also the place to be. We try to encompass all of that while being non-toxic and friendly and awesome. And I'm super pumped about what we have going on Discord. If you want to get in on that, it's free right now. Just hit my Twitter at Retrologic.games, and right there in my bio is the Discord link. Come join us. Come chat with us. I would love to have you be part of it. So let's really quick, John, jump into what we got going on with crossplay. This is our last. Well, I think we're probably going to wrap up crossplay next week.
Yep, this will be
before we pick some new games.
Yeah, this will be this coming up week's the last week to play. So
yeah, so this isn't our last week. I got to try to beat Super Metroid. I'm feel really good about where I am. I got really stuck tonight on stream, and anybody who watched me, I'm so sorry. I had to restart my my save file a couple times because I would go in a direction and then realize that's a dead end. Be like, okay, well, I could traverse all the way back, or I'll just restart the save file. Boom, restart the save file. I did that like 3 times before I finally got to a place where I could like move forward, and it was really annoying and really frustrating. That's probably the most frustrated I've been in Super Metroid since I started playing. When I wasn't even that frustrated, I was still having fun. And in fact, I felt myself getting to a place with this game where all the like switching between weapons and using your powers and using your speed boots and all that stuff became kind of second nature. Like my brain is meshing with the game more, which feels really good in Super Metroid. This is kind of like the zone of Super Metroid where you're in that kind of Nintendo design heaven where you're just kind of meshing with the game. So I'm still super enjoying it. I'm absolutely falling in love with Super Metroid, and I can't wait to beat it, honestly. Like I can't wait to say I finally beat Super Metroid and I gave it a 10 out of 10. Like I'm pumped for that day, and I really appreciate everybody coming out and watching the stream tonight. I plan on doing some extra streams this week to try to get through it. I'll do a little bit of playing on my own just to kind of get through some boring parts, and then we'll jump back in with the exciting stuff on stream. So look out on Twitter for news on that. So John, how's Excitebike going?
So I moved on to Excitebike 64, and
that's a good choice.
I'm still not really digging Excitebike 64 as much as I thought I would either. I thought moving to 3D would be a little better, but man, it is so hard to not wipe out in that game. Like I thought exhausting my bike in the first game was rough, but like you barely like clip somebody and you fall off your bike.
Dang.
And the other racers that are on the track with you, they get up like 3 times faster than you do. Like I'll watch them wipe out same time I do, and then they're like way up ahead of me whenever I start back up. It's like I did manage to win.
It's no Mario Kart, huh?
Yes, definitely no Mario Kart. There's definitely some getting used to the sliding around the corners. You know, they'd add a slide since you're in a 3D space now to help with the cornering. The bikes don't corner all that well just with a regular turn. I did manage to beat, I think, 3 out of the 5 tracks. So
nice.
I tried the stunt mode. Wasn't really too great at that.
There's only 5 tracks in the game? Or you have to unlock more or what?
You might have to unlock more. I'm not sure yet. You start off with 5. So I have 5 available to me right now. I only played on Novice, so I haven't even begun to break into the Excitebike 64. But I mean, it's definitely a step up from the NES version. I think I'm liking it more. Like there's definitely more skill ceiling to it. Like you can get used to it and probably play through it a little bit easier. I plan on moving on to Excite Truck, and if I have time, Excite Bots this week. So I'll have played all of the Excite games.
Yeah, Excitebots isn't too different from Excite Truck, as far as I remember. So I wouldn't worry too much about that. I mean, it's cool to play, but it's not gonna blow your mind after you play Excite Truck. It's kind of the same deal, just with some extra doodads thrown in.
Anyway, that's the plan. I'm gonna try to play through all 4 games in the series and maybe just give an overall opinion of Excite Bike as a series, since they're a more simplistic racing game.
So last week I asked a question of our listeners, if anybody's in their late 40s, 50s, and they remember the launch of the NES, how were the black box games received, and was Excite Bike considered to be like in the upper echelon of those games? And my response came from Jason on our Discord, and he was talking about how there really wasn't much of a distinction between, oh, this is a Nintendo game and this is a Konami game and this is a Capcom game. A game was a game, and you looked at the cover art and you decided it was good or not. And he did say that Excite Bike was considered one of the best games as far as like the Nintendo black box games goes. He said it was because of the track editor, which he thought was awesome. He remembered that he and his friend growing up, they would make tracks for each other back and forth and play on them, and then then they'd switch controllers and he'd make a track and then his friend would play on him, and so that makes total sense to me. It's certainly the most like accessible and playable of the black box games that I can, at least that I remember, that I can think of. You know, I mean, and then Mario Brothers came out, and that just changed everything. Everything was different after that.
Yeah, they kind of mentioned the Mario Brothers was the top, black box game, and then everything else kind of cascaded down after that. Landing with the majority of the basic sports titles being the lesser favorites, from what I could tell. Yeah.
But yeah, Excite Bike was considered a really high quality game. It's just that stuff got so much better after that it got lost to history. So all in all, I appreciate Excite Bike for its place in history. It is difficult to play now.
Yeah, definitely,
to say the least. Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely taking some time to get used to everything that Excite Bike throws at you. There's definitely a lot more strategy to the original game than just racing a bike.
Exactly. So next week is our last week of this round of crossplay, and then I won't force John to play Excite Bike anymore. And I anticipate there's some revenge on the way for me for next month, John.
There might be.
Yeah, we'll see. You were kind to me this month. I didn't know how kind you were when I started playing Super Metroid, but you gave me a gift, is what you did.
Yeah, I really just wanted to see you play through Super Metroid because it's a fantastic game.
Yeah. Now I want the cartridge, so that sucks.
It's out there.
Yeah, it's expensive. It's a $50 game. We'll see. Maybe somebody will gift me one. I'll just say I want Super Metroid for Christmas, and somebody will be like, "What? Like the Super Nintendo game?" Yeah, that's what I want. Go get it for me. So we've got some community stuff to get through. Not just to get through, but to enjoy, because we love our community. Our Discord is awesome, and we love you guys. So our question of the week, posed by me this week, is if you had to do a 2-hour presentation totally unprepared on a game, gaming topic, or franchise, what would it be? And we got a good number of responses to that question. But first things first, John, what is your answer to this question?
This is a very difficult question. I think at different periods of my life in gaming, I would have a different answer. Because there was in early years of gaming, it probably would have been more Mario focused. Like I liked playing a lot of Mario. And then, there was a period of time where I played Diablo 2 for like almost 5 years, and I probably could have just talked to you off about Diablo 2. Right. The game was like never ending for me. The online community, everything. I mean, I could have just talked for hours. Anymore, I would have to probably say just Like, I play so many different things now. I don't know that I stick with anything long enough to put a 2-hour presentation on. If it was just a Nintendo in general or retro gaming in general topic, yes. But I don't know that I have an exact like game that I could just go on for hours about anymore.
Not even one from like that you would remember playing from a kid, or a series of games that you played every one of that you could go through the history of. Because for me, I could probably talk about the evolution of Star Fox games for about 2 hours, and like probably longer than that.
I mean, just pretty much any of the mainline Nintendo franchises I could probably tell you all about for several hours. Harvest Moon.
Just do a history of Nintendo.
Yeah, I played a lot of Harvest Moon through the years. Ogre Battle games. Like I said, I played a bunch of everything as a kid. And now I don't any newer games, I don't think I could talk to you for 2 hours about it. I don't play enough of them to do too much jumping around.
Yeah, for sure. Well, $2 Hero in our Discord says it would definitely be Banjo-Kazooie. Not only can I gush about that game incessantly because I love it so much, I also know a weird amount about its interesting development cycle. So that's really cool. I have not played enough Banjo-Kazooie to be able to say that myself, but I love the game, and I would love to hear a 2-hour presentation about it. So that's cool. Frosticles is up next. He talks about Zelda, specifically Wind Waker, the topic being how hated it was back then, and yet it's now one of the most beloved, and actually how it's probably the only Zelda game that remains graphically beautiful in its original form. That would be really interesting, and I 100% agree that Wind Waker is great, and I thought it was great from day one. I just want to put that out there.
Get your Wind Waker in.
Oh, always. And then Adrock in our Discord says 2 hours, no problem, and would probably run overtime on Final Fantasy VII, Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild, Shadow of the Colossus, Conker's Bad Fur Day. Those would be each probably be 2 hours apiece. And he said maybe almost 2 hours with a lot of filler and fluff and hemming and hawing on Super Mario World, Metal Gear Solid, Blast Core, and Ocarina of Time. He's got quite the list there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good shout out to Conker's Bad Fur Day. I used to love that game.
Yeah, dude. Man, that game I need to play that game on stream.
Surprisingly, the multiplayer modes in that game were a lot of fun. Like, I know they were kind of like thrown in, but the one where like you're the weasels and you're trying to rob the bank, you got to grab the bag of money, take it back to your area.
They're just wacky and cool.
Yeah.
And it's so great. Neo Prime 33, my good friend Tim, he says, actually helped a friend do one on the history of Nintendo for Umicon, which is a convention. He pulled the history and I built and ran the slides for him in the presentation. I'd probably take that one and do some tweaks. Oh, he found the presentation. Cool. I'll have to go back and take a look at it. We've got Chris HL. My presentation would be titled Why Everyone is Wrong About Zelda 2 The Adventure of Link. Yeah.
I figured he'd be...
I want to hear that one too.
I figured he'd do one on NHL 94.
That's too obvious though. He's got to surprise us sometime.
Oh yeah.
Hambone Johnny says 2 hours on a single game would be tough. I might do one on the evolution of controllers. The Pong knob to the double shoulder buttons. Mix in a little motion control jazz.
Yeah.
That'd be a cool presentation. I'd watch that. Third Strongest Mole says, I suppose it depends on the type of presentation. Are you talking about an entertaining YouTube video or a TED Talk? Either way, I could probably spend some time on how Mega Man Battle Network wasn't too far off in predicting smart devices and the Internet of Things. That is awesome.
Yes.
Spider Shan says, no surprise to anyone who knows me, but I could easily do 2 hours on Link to the Past or the Zelda franchise in general. He sounds like Frosticles. And I could probably work together a master's course on Zelda. I could also do 2 hours on Final Fantasy VI. A lot of Zelda. I mean, it's a beloved franchise, and I think I would sit through 2 hours of a Zelda history lesson or a comparison or something. Flightsy on our Discord talks about Pikmin. It's the only of his favorite franchises that he's played all of the mainline games. He says he plans on playing all the Kirby and Rhythm Heaven games, but he hasn't gotten around to it yet. So it would definitely be Pikmin. And yeah, he said he had no problem talking about Pikmin for 2 hours.
What about Hey Pikmin?
That's probably one that I could get around. What? Not Hey. No, that's not. I don't consider that mainline. That is not.
We'll just have to ask Flightsy and see what he says.
Yeah, we'll have to ask him. Definitely. I thought that was a cool question. I think the Nintendo dads are going to bring that one up in the next episode, and maybe a couple of the other podcasts under that umbrella as well. So make sure you go check them out. Check out the Nintendo Dads podcast and see what they've got going on, because they're a couple of cool dudes. What else have we got going on today, John? I think that's the episode. Oh, here's a reminder for you. Our February game for Retro Rewind, which is our book club style community gaming event, is Sonic the Hedgehog. Any way you want to play Sonic the Hedgehog, the first Sonic the Hedgehog for the Sega Genesis or the Mega Drive. We are all going to play that game throughout the month of February. You could start now if you want to, but I suggest waiting because there's going to be some fun stuff happening while we play. We had a giveaway in our Discord, and Spider Shan won a physical copy of the original Sonic the Hedgehog on Sega Genesis. So congrats to you, Spider Shan. That is on the way. And so the first episode that we're going to kick that off with is our February 2nd episode, which is next Tuesday. Yep. So stay tuned for that. And John, how are you going to play this game?
I will either play it on my Genesis Classic or my Genesis Collection on the Switch.
Yeah. I could play it on my Sega Genesis, but I'll probably pop back and forth because it's not a long game. I will play a little bit of it on the original just to get a feel for it on that hardware. And then I will jump into the Switch version to kind of finish it, to play it all the way through. Because just with save states and rewind, it's just going to make it way easier to burn through with the limited time. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's been a while since I played the original, and I have fond memories of it. I know there's a little bit of rough platforming in those games, but I have nothing but love for Sonic the Hedgehog. So that's my deal.
Gotta love those casino levels.
Casino Night Zone. There's just the music in this game.
The music is
the
fantastic.
romp. Top notch. Well, John, do you have anything else for us before we close it up?
I can't think of anything we didn't touch on.
All right. Cool.
Not this time.
Got a lot going on.
Yeah.
Got a lot going on these days. We've got crossplay. We've got Retro Rewind. We've got Prices Retro. We've got... I forgot to say that all this week in the Retrologic.games store, buy two, get one free. Everything under $20 is buy two, get one free. I'm also giving out these cool little 3-inch long NES controller style logo stickers. They're holographic. They're awesome. And if you want one, you got to buy something from the store. I might be selling them afterwards if I have any left. We'll see. So jump onto the store on eBay or go to Retrologic.games to check that out. And thank you for listening to the Retrologic podcast. If you like what you hear, you can follow me on Twitter at Retrologic.games. We're doing giveaways. We're doing polls. We're doing all kinds of stuff on there. It's super fun. We are also very welcome to jump into our friendly and 100% non-toxic Discord community for all types of gamers. Retro is our focus, but you're welcome to talk about cookies or
we talk a little bit about
muffin
everything.
recipes. talk about Plock a little bit.
Maybe so much Plock.
Maybe some weather talk. A lot of there's actually way too much Plock talk going on in the Discord. The link to that Discord is in my Twitter bio, so go do that. And you can find all the Retrologic things at Retrologic.games, the website. So, with that being said, thank you so much for listening, and I will see you guys next week.
Goodbye now.
Theme song. Da-da. Ra-da-da-da. Exactly. You got that down.
Yeah, he's been listening to it a bunch.
Oh yeah,
Right.
I've been
Coming back.
I've been practicing for this moment when I knew I was going to come back at some point and I had to win. So
Yeah. Well, and now we regret it. So thank you for that.
I'm gonna tank this bad. I know, but